Welcome to Around the Weird. Here's your host, the museum curator of the strange and unusual, Mr. Nothing.
Thank you, Mysterious Voice, and welcome back to Around the Weird, a booktube channel where I talk about all the unusual and out of the ordinary literature that I've found in my travels. Today it is Poetry Thursday, so I want to talk about a poem that is about women. I am referring to 6 Reasons I Can't Open the Door for Him at 3 a.m. by Sarah Carson. For those who don't know, Sarah Carson is a Michigan writer who has been getting most of their work published, I think, in the past 10 years. She has written a number of books of poetry, and she also talks about Michigan, where she grew up, and she's won a number of grants and fellowships and stuff because of that. I don't know too much else about this writer. I'm pretty much lucky to have stumbled across them because they're still kind of a fresh writer, and not really well published out there quite yet. So always interesting to see new writers in addition to the older, more fleshed out, or no, I wouldn't say fleshed out, I would say more established perhaps writers. But without further ado, let's talk about this poem. I will read it, do a little bit of analysis, and we will move on from there. 6 Reasons I Can't Answer the Door for Him at 3 a.m. The last man here wanted what could not be taken. My girl, he'd say, my baby. The narrow of his eyes scattered mice in the walls. The man before him hid cans in high cabinets. Neighbors slipped notes through the breezeway. Just yell help, they said. Police are quick here. Here as in not someplace else. Then there's brother who can't come home at Christmas. The girl he swears he doesn't know in my same sweatshirt when they pull her from the creek. In the city where we were born. Bullets crawl blocks like brush fire. Spent casings end up in water. Police come to the door, ask for men who've said our names. Now, tucked between my hip bone and my rib cage, I'm growing another body. The dark cloud of the ultrasound says she'll be a girl like me. If we believe what God says about Adam's rib bone, about his finger pointing, we know it falls to girls to pass the warning. There are men who sleep and men who can't, and it's up to us to know the difference. It's up to us to know a door is also a thing that opens. Even a deadbolt is still a kind of hope. And so that was 6 Reasons I Can't Answer the Door for Him at 3 a.m, which is quite a mouthful to say. In terms of analysis, there's a fair bit to talk about with the poem. There doesn't seem to be a strict narrative, just the narrator knowing bad occurrences that have happened to them as a result of meeting unfortunate men. And that seems to be the big old theme of the poem is so there's a feminist element there, or there's a misogynistic element there, highlighting the unfortunate misogyny that the narrator has experienced in the world. We see it like at the beginning, like the last man wanted what could not be taken. The men before him hid cans in high cabinets. Just yell help, they said. Police are quick here. Like fishing out a woman from the creek, indicating that she's been abused there or killed, and even the noting like Adam, as opposed from Adam and Eve, where it says, if we believe what God says about Adam's rib bone, about his finger pointing, we know it falls to girls to pass the warning. There are men who sleep and men who can, and it's up to us to know the difference, which is a pretty hard line right there. It emphasizes the whole point. Like you have to recognize how safe men can be around, and if you pick the wrong one, that's trouble for you. It's something that women have experienced for quite some time, and it's something they try to call awareness to, especially with the Me Too movement that happened pretty recently, although the benefits and the longevity of that movement are up for debate, but it's still something that people try to highlight and note the unsafe nature of men. But what's also interesting about this poem is the worry and the fear of the next for the next generation, your child. Specifically, the narrator says, "Now tucked between my hip bone and my rib cage, I'm growing another body. The dark cloud of the ultrasound says she'll be a girl like me." Which, normally you'd be happy to have a child, but the line, "the dark cloud of the ultrasound says she'll be a girl like me," implies that there isn't an eagerness to bring a girl into this world, possibly because of all the reasons that the narrator just said. So there's that fear of what'll happen to this child. What might they go through the same experiences that I just outlined, or the narrator just outlined in the at the beginning of the poem. It's a scary thought, but like, people are happy about having children, but there's that additional fear, especially if you're a woman in America, a woman living in this world at large, and you know that you're going to bring a daughter into the world. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. And then at the end of the poem, there is sort of using the door as a metaphor of some kind. It's up to us to know a door is also a thing that opens. Even a deadbolt is still a kind of hope. Like, men can come through that door, but you can also lock it. There's the ability to just shut it and keep it latched, and no one can really get at you. At least that's what I think the narrator is getting at with this poem, suggesting that deadbolts provide a sense of safety, a sense of hope in dark times. Although it doesn't quite mitigate the terrifying, men and monsters that might exist out there. Like, knowing that, because you eventually do have to leave. There is a sense of optimism, but not full-on optimism. Anyway, those are my thoughts on 6 Reasons. Pretty solid poem. Very eager. I'm very happy to share it with you out there. It definitely stood out to me. If you have any thoughts on it, let me know in the comments below. I'll also put a link to it in the description so you can read it and just tell me what you thought of that or my review here. Otherwise, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that more people can find out about this poet or this poem, or even Poetry Thursday if they want to talk more about poetry too. And until then, I wish you the best of luck in your weird and deadbolt related travels. Farewell.